The final piece of strategic planning that we want to talk about is probably also the most difficult, and that is creating connectivity between all of the stages, between the vision, the mission, the strategic objectives, the action plans, and now that connectivity goes down to individual team members. And that is tying in some of these key elements into the actual performance management and performance measuring that goes on with our team members all the time. And really to achieve that, we have to kind of throw away some of the old existing paradigms that we have about how we manage and evaluate performance. You know, if that old kind of arcane method of, you know, picking out 4 or 5 areas and saying, you know, attendance is good and you're on time and you're a pleasant person, and, you know, you evaluate on a basis of 1 to 5 or 1 to 10 or A, B, C, D, E, whatever it is, we kind of have to shift that aside and kind of push that away. To make the connection between strategic planning and ultimately organizational success and individual team members, what we have to do is we have to take those big giant pieces that we identified in the strategic objectives, you know, that increase sales revenue by 12%, or that grow gross sales by $500,000, or improve customer service satisfaction to 98.9%. And now we have to drill that down to the individual contributions that team members make. And not just frontline team members, but all team members. We have to understand that folks in IT and HR and accounting, they all have impact on all of those areas, and we need to make sure that we can draw a line in what's your individual contribution to that. So literally we have to put on some analytics hats and say, okay, how much of that gross revenue are you individually accountable for? How much of that do you drive? How much of that customer service piece do you drive? How much of team member satisfaction and team member retention do you own? And when you get to that point, and I got to tell you, I'm not going to mislead you, that takes some kind of heavy lifting to get to that point. But what becomes kind of easy and a really great little side benefit of this is now to evaluate supervisors, managers, division directors, and executives. I simply need to roll up and add together the individual contributions of all those team members to show the contribution and the impact that my division or that my department has. And that then becomes the evaluation standards. So literally you're making a shift here from evaluating folks based on, well, gosh, they're a pleasant person and they show up every day, into what do they actually contribute? You know, how many inspections did they do? How much revenue did they actually generate? How much customer satisfaction, or, you know, the converse, dissatisfaction, did they create? And holding them accountable and rewarding them for those contributions. That represents the ultimate bridge between all of those levels of strategic planning. I'm not going to say that without that step it's going to be a failure, but without that step it's going to be harder for you to drive home the real impact of what strategic planning is.